Morning. It is day 162, maybe. It's my last Thursday on trail. Just have tomorrow to go, and then I'll finish on Saturday around lunchtime. So grinding down to the end here. Spend a lot of time thinking about my time out here, and I didn't really know what I was looking for when I came out here, and I still don't. However, one of the things I think I found is a new appreciation for balance, because I think there's a squirrel throwing things at the tree at me. What was I saying? Balance. One of the things out here is I've noticed how remarkably comfortable. Holy shit. Motherfucker. There is some up that tree throwing things at me. This just missed me. Come down here and say that. I hope actually. I don't know if the camera caught that or not. It'd be cool if it did. Anyway, yeah, lying in my tent at night. It's remarkable how comfortable I am just on my little sleeping mat, in my sleeping bag, in my tent, and how at home that feels, how after such a long time out here it feels absolutely 100% comfortable and at home, and being outdoors all day, every day is just, it's just normal now. But what I crave is the comforts of regular society, a bed, a couch, TV, going to a cafe, going to restaurants, all that kind of stuff. And it's funny because people come out here, not just to through hike, but when people go camping, they love getting away from all that stuff because they don't have that balance. Their normal life is all of that stuff and no time in wilderness. And when your time is all wilderness and none of that stuff, you don't have that balance. Hang five, let me get some water. So I think that's why when you go camping for a weekend or a week, you really do sit around and appreciate all the wilderness, and it's all novel and relaxing, and it's a great escape. But when you're out here for almost 6 months, that just becomes the norm. You don't appreciate it so much. I think that can translate across to regular life, and I certainly hope to add some more balance into my regular life when I return to whatever that regular life may be. But yeah, extremes I've done in the past of all working or all travel or all this or all that, I'm always 110% into something and abandoning everything else. And so for me, that's something I think I'm going to be trying to focus more on, is just enjoying that balance in every sense of the word, in every aspect of life, because I think that's where the real key is. Because all of something, even, you know, people who love hiking and camping and everything, they might think that, hey, all I want to do is be out there for 6 months or a year, and that's all I ever want. If only I could do it. If only I could get the money or the time or make it happen. That's what I thought. I thought, what a great life this would be. Just all you've got to do is wake up each day and walk. Just out in wilderness all the time, but it gets a little old. Well, I still enjoy it, and I'm certainly finding myself these last few days really trying to appreciate where I am, because I know that soon enough I won't be here. I think the real appreciation is when you get that contrast from where you spend most of the time. So yeah, once I'm back in normal life, I think getting out for a weekend or even just a day hike, that's where the real appreciation for wandering through the wilderness and going, oh, how nice is this? That's where that goes. Because after over 5 months of wandering up and down mountains, you stop sort of getting that, how good is this? You just get the, another damn hill. But I mean, there are still nice views, and the views out here in some of these remoter areas are so stunning you cannot, no matter how bad of a day you're having, you still appreciate them, you can't not. But And on that note of balance, it's going to be interesting to see whether I can actually even stick to everything I just said, because part of my plan was, well, not my plan, but I was hoping to return back to the job I had before I came out here. That was not my plan when I left, but turned out that was going to become my plan. However, I contacted them recently, and unfortunately they're looking at maybe putting guys off, not putting guys back on. So that's kind of thrown a spanner into the works. However, I have a contact, a friend of mine I used to work with, out in CSG, oil and gas mining, where I used to work quite a while ago. And there is a potential that I can get my details in front of the right people there and potentially have a job with a reasonable roster, but I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how much balance there is in working away from home again, going back to Australia, but then doing fly in, fly out work to remote parts of the country for weeks at a time and only being home for a much shorter period of time. So to me that sort of goes, well, if I do that, that kind of throws out that whole balance prospect. But then everything happens for a reason, right? So maybe if that door does open, that means something else. Who the hell knows? All I do know is you can wander out here for 6 months and come out the other end still having no real clue what the hell you were doing out here. Well, I just finished the last significant climb on the PCT. Unfortunately, I can't yet say it's all the way downhill to Canada, because tomorrow there is a fire closure that I have to follow a detour around, and that's going to drop me a long way down off this ridge. If I was to stay on this ridge on the PCT, I would basically just casually undulate up and down until the border. But because there's a closure that starts in about 8 miles from where I am now, I have to drop right down into the valley beside it, go a long way down, and come a long way back up. So I've got one more significant climb on this hike, and then just some relatively casual ups and downs, of course. But I'm hoping that by tomorrow night, planning a pretty big day tomorrow. Today's going to be a short day. Today is like 20 miles, set up for this closure, camp about a mile before it. And then tomorrow, up early, big day, 21 miles through the closure, and then as many PCT miles as I can possibly muster in the afternoon, get myself to within just a couple of the border monument. So hopefully by mid to late afternoon tomorrow, probably late afternoon, I'm hoping I'll be able to say that it is actually all downhill to Canada, and it actually will be. That's the plan. But for now, last big official PCT climb over, and I can enjoy these views for a bit, even though they're kind of smoky and surprisingly deserty. I guess it makes sense that like quite a large chunk of BC is desert, so I guess it makes sense that as I get closer, these mountains do become very high desert kind of country. Even though it rains a lot here, I don't know, it's strange, but I feel like I'm back in the desert. It's unfortunately still quite smoky. Takes away from the views a little bit, but it's still pretty spectacular.